How has gambling interrupted or affected your life? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yo, what's up, guys? Alkmi here. Don't mind me, just finishing up my dinner.
Good evening, afternoon, morning, or any other time to you foil motherfuckers, and welcome to this rather British version of 101.
What's going on?
I'm your designated subject, Sam, and today I'm here to talk about the country of James Bond, Sherlock Holmes, Doctor Who, Sean Connery. Yes, thank you, Keith. I'm here to talk about the United Kingdom. But how much tea do we drink as a nation every day? How many times do we have sex in our lifetimes? Do we have sex?
Don't mind me.
Tea?
I'm just waiting for more people to get on. Finishing up my dinner.
From the Bacting Empire, while eating a crumpet and mainlining swan mud. Lovely stuff. This is 101 facts about the United Kingdom. Number 1. In case you thought this was a video about me,
just chill. Oh, I got you.
The United Kingdom of Great Britain
if you're there.
Ireland is a sovereign country.
I took a look at your channel. I took a look at some of your videos. What kind of channel do you have? You like a voice impressionist, or do you like different voices along with beatboxing? I'm curious.
England, Scotland, and Ireland salt our flag almost together. Sorry, Wales, there was over and dragon. Number 3. St. George's Cross is widely known as the flag for England. It is a red cross atop a white flag and came into use in the late 18th century. Sorry, I'm not sure why I'm doing that dusty old librarian voice. Number 4. St. Andrew's Cross is the flag of Scotland. Come on, stop doing that voice. According to legend, it's a cross because of a battle between the Scots and the Angles.
Yeah, no, sir. It's like your non-gaming stuff.
Is a cute one.
Do you just do like voice impressions or something?
During this battle, the clouds in the sky apparently formed into an X, thus marking the flag. Number 5. This is Wales' flag, which is
Or do you do like characters?
But why?
Like acting characters?
It was the symbol of the King of Wales, named King Cadwallader. Number 6. Northern Ireland doesn't have its own flag. Sorry, Northern Ireland. Number 7. England and Wales were united in 1536 like ex-lovers. Then Scotland joined in 1707 like a swingers party that created Great Britain. Renamed the United Kingdom in 1801 when Ireland was added too. Number 8. As of 2013, the population of
I meant more your old stuff.
4.1 million. England has 53 of those millions.
Like some of the just 13-second videos where you just say like a monologue.
Number 9. The UK is close to 95.
If you are who I'm thinking of.
Number 10. The UK's longest coastline is around 5,000 miles. The exact distance of a plane will walk for you. Number 11. Our highest mountain is Ben Nevis, which we might name it since then in the UK. Many boys can be found in Scotland at just over 1,340 meters high. Number 12. We have, and this is an actual measurement, 8 ton of history in the UK, dating all the way back to 6,500 BC. All over the UK, you'll find monuments marking its history, from Stonehenge to Buckingham Palace. Number 13. Perhaps because of this, and because its residents are kooky folk like me, in 2010, 29.6 million people visited Britain.
Hey, what's up? What's going on, L Smasher? I'm doing all right, my friend. Hey, you never taught me that Bulgarian phrase I asked you to. Like, could you teach me hello or thank you in Bulgarian? I'd love to learn that. No, just chill. I was just asking because maybe I'm using the wrong word, not monologue. I meant more like I don't know. I was just curious. I saw some of your videos. Literally just like you just saying something for like 7 seconds. I don't know if you're like repeating names or something. I was just curious about what kind of like channel content you were going for with that. Sorry, RL Smasher. Hold on. I can't respond to you because literally something is covering my screen in the part where I can see responses. Hold on. My computer's got some janky ad shit going on. I love falafel. You guys, give me a second. Just gotta finish my falafel. Shout out to our Levin team and our Mediterranean beatbox culture, folks. Shout out to our Balkan beatbox brother and sister and others.
Alright, who's last new Gaelic? Hold up. Number 19. Contrary to what some believe, we're not exactly led by the Queen anymore. The United Kingdom is a parliamentary democracy, which means the government is elected by the people. Number 20.
I'm doing pretty fine. I'm excited to talk to you guys about local dishes and stuff. I'm just waiting till a little more people get on. That's why I'm finishing up my dinner.
The UK has had 76 prime ministers, including the president.
Good to see you.
And others.
Cool. Oh, you're writing it in Cyrillic. I learned Cyrillic once. Zdrasti. Am I saying that right? Zdrasti. Zdrasti. What's thank you in Bulgarian?
Number 23. The United Kingdom joined the European Union in 1949, but not anymore. Well, not yet anyway, since we're apparently practicing the S alphabet due to a referendum in June 2016 because reasons.
I love falafels. Thanks, Earl.
In fact, Colin's dictionary made Brexit, which sounds like breakfast cereal, specifically smoked with diarrhea, there's actually a admittedly terrible fusion of the words Britain and exit, their word of the year in 2016. Number 25. Her Majesty the Queen of England II is the head of state in the United Kingdom.
Zdrasti. Cool. What's up? Thank you in Bulgarian.
But the royal family still important ceremonial and formal roles, like celebrating the
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Hold on 1 second.
Number 26. Along with our Queen Lizzie, there's a whole family of royals. Yes, thank you, Lord. Right at the top of the family tree is the arrogantly named Alfred the Great, who defended his kingdom against the Vikings. Number 7. Windsor Castle, where the Queen spent most of her time, is the largest royal home in the world. It's also the oldest continually inhabited royal residence in Britain, don't you know, having been built by William the Conqueror around 1080 AD. Number 20. Nowhere in the UK is more than 75 miles away from the sea, which is quite lucky, really, given that we do like to be beside the seaside, or we do like to be beside the sea. Except me, actually. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it's everywhere. Number 29. London is the capital of England and the UK, by the way, just in case you weren't aware. Hey, it's a fact. Number 30. Just in case you visit and need to know the laws, you need to be 18 to drink alcohol, and you're not allowed any drugs at all. Not even marijuana. Soz, chaps, but hey,
oh no.
Have a cup of tea instead. Number 31. Rather stereotypically speaking of tea, every day us British drink 165 million cups of tea, which is over 20 times more than the average American. I think I'm responsible for at least an 18th of that figure. Right, give me a tea. Number 32. When you think of British food, you probably think of this, or this. Or what about this? You should, because the United Kingdom recently named chicken tikka masala as a national dish, which is a spicy curry created in Britain and is actually unheard of in India itself. Number 30. Speaking of fish, and indeed chips, the first fish and chips restaurant was opened in 1860 in London by a Jewish immigrant named Joseph Malin. So thank you, Joseph, for giving me that sweet newspaper wrapped butter drenched after. You're welcome. Number 34. Speaking of heart attack, a popular national food of Scotland is haggis. Sheep, heart, liver, and mince encased in a stomach. Mmm. You want some haggis, Americans? Do you want some haggis? That's right. Well, that's too bad, because it's illegal to import haggis from the UK into the US, and the American government has declared that sheep bones are unfit for human consumption. I mean, how dare they? Have they tried American chocolate? It tastes like disappointment in a bar. The Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square is presented every year by the people of Oslo in gratitude for London's assistance during World War II. Number 37. James Bond, or Secretive Jimmy as I call him down the pub, is one of Britain's national heroes, and one of the first people I did a helpful fact about, don't you know? His code name, 007, was inspired by the author Ian Fleming's bus route from Canterbury to London. So there you go, not only do you know that now, but you also know that bus routes get from Canterbury to London. You're welcome. Number
Yo, yo. Oh, cool. More people signing on. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, brothers, sisters, people of all sexes and genders, my family members of our beautiful Beatbox family. Zdrasti. Thank you in Bulgarian is, I'm going to try not to look at the English, only the Cyrillic. Blagodaria. Blagodaria. Oh, yeah, I said that. Blagodaria. Miri. Mirsi. That sounds French. Merci. Cool, man. C'est parti. Shout out to the French community. Awesome. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that, your language with me. So zdrasti is hello, and blagodaria is thank you. Blagodaria or merci. Merci. Is am I saying it right? Merci. Because I know the Russian ye sound is like more of like a ye, like a diphthong. I'm very privileged to have an international community that I belong to, like the Beatbox community, with all these international family members that I get to learn and appreciate other cultures. You know, because Americans, as you all probably know, are notoriously ignorant of other cultures and absent of appreciation for other cultures other than our own. So. Yeah, I know. I'm sure that's because of the Slavic influence on Bulgarian, even though I know Bulgarians have their own separate history, you know, because you all came from the Bulgars, which came from like Central Asia, but then you are influenced by Slavs and the Balkan Slavic cultures. Yeah, but like I know ethnically, y'all are slightly different than Slavs. Reminds me of Romanians, you know, except they were like a Roman Latin people that were influenced by Slavs. Blagodari. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, everyone. Awesome. I guess just chill. You didn't want to answer my question. That's cool. Lady, run down to Riptide, take me away to the dark side. I wanna be left and then I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Oh, bro, dude, dude, there's so many people in my country that are absolutely racist. Some are proudly, unashamedly racist, and some are subtly racist, and they would like to convince themselves and other people close to them that they are not racist. You deal with that in many people in my country are. And then, we have to use correct terms, right? It's not all just about political correctness bullshit. We have to use correct terms. There's studies on this, intersectional studies on racism. When you're part of a hegemony, a dominant group, and you are the only one who can benefit from something like a microaggressive interaction or racist put down or insult or anything of a nature of putting down someone that is not part of that dominant group in a system, you are racist. And anyone who is not belonging of that privilege and that power from that unequal power dynamic is not racist. And it cannot be capable of what you would call racism, where it's a power exchange between unequal parties. In that sense, each country has a dominant hegemonic group. In my country, it is heterosexual, cisgendered, able-bodied white males. So when people say only white people can be racist, they are speaking in an American-specific context, at least when they're speaking about it as Americans. And people of color can still be racially prejudiced and racially discriminative, absolutely, and hateful, absolutely, and bigoted, absolutely, but not racist. That's where people are coming from when they say that. And I think that conversation isn't had, and so people get offended about it. But it's like, we're only speaking to the extent of America, USA. So yeah, anyways, there's lots of racist and racially prejudiced and bigoted and ignorant folks in my country, white or otherwise. So I try to break that stereotype, and we're very privileged to live in a country like America. So I try to use that privilege to my advantage and show an example in my very small and limited platform with my small and limited voice of appreciating other people's cultures, seeing the beauty in being empathetic towards people from other places and societies. And I think that's a beautiful thing, how different humanity is. And Beatbox just helps, it helps us come together and appreciate that difference, because there's a universal language we speak, but we all bring a different cultural mindset to the table for this universal language. And we can have competitions of it, and showcases and festivals for it. So, beatboxing and beatbox culture and being internationally empathetic, culturally sensitive, and culturally appreciative, and multiculturally interested, those two things I think cross over very well. I don't know if a lot of people see it like that, but I see it like that. So. And I'm also what I would like to say an academic hippie stoner. So I just love appreciating other people's cultures anyway, especially Bulgaria. I mean, Bulgarians had a long history with cannabis and hemp too, but that's another talk. Well, that's other stuff. Talk about stuff. It's good to mention it, and it's worth mentioning, but that we can have another conversation about that. But I will be true to my values and unapologetic about my progressive values. But yeah, I feel sorry for those people. I don't hate them. I don't want to spread the hate, because hate is a virus, and bigotry and racism and ignorance is a virus. But I try to set a good example. That's all. Everyone's culture is beautiful in their own way, and it's really dope that we have a community where we can enjoy so many different cultures, with beatboxing as the reason that we're all together, something we all love. And Bulgaria's culture is just cool as fuck, man, because it's the land of roses. I love essential oils. I love the study of plant medicines. And y'all are basically like the number one producer of the world's roses. So it's the land of roses too. And y'all got pension kata and skiller. Don't forget, I appreciate that, man. You don't got to say that. You don't got to say that. Come on. There's tons of people that are like what you're saying I am. And I'm inspired by those people. And I look up to those people. And I'm not as influential as those people, but I want to embody the same example that they set for being a good human being and being someone that values others and diversity, because that's a strength, not a weakness, right? Those people are people like Gene Shinazaki, Reaps One, Napalm, Neil Patrick Meadows, and Kenny Urban, Amit, Chrysalis, the Beatbox House, Kayla Milady. Those people are examples in our community. And Hershey, River, Alexino, these people value diversity. And so I look up to them. I try to be like them. So if people look up to me, I want people to feel the same way when they see me, and me speaking from my heart about my progressive values. I'm not afraid to talk about that shit, People should not be afraid to talk about that. A lot of this community are people, unfortunately, who are privileged males, and we are blind to a lot of the injustice that goes on right in our own community. I'm not even just talking about the gender struggle, but with the gender struggle, the struggle of females in our community and non-binary and non-heteronormative folks, we got to speak up for them because we got the privilege as males, you know? Don't not use your privilege. Yeah, there's plenty of us that don't believe in that shit or don't believe that females are disadvantaged. I'm not talking to you. If you're listening and you don't want to keep listening, go ahead and stop listening. But those of us that aren't those people, we can help fight the ignorance that they're spreading and the inequality and the status quo that they're helping perpetuate by speaking on that, even if it's uncomfortable. You know, some people can't even speak on what we're speaking on because they'll be seen as, you know, not credible, right? We're credible automatically because we're males, we're heteronormative, cisgendered males. So let's be a good example. You know what I'm saying? And let's use our privilege for good benefit, for the benefit of others. You know what I'm saying? That goes for race, that goes for gender, that goes for sexual orientation, marginalized group status, anything like that, you know? Especially shout out to my Palestinian brothers, sisters, you know, and people of all sexes and genders. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Well, we can bond later, but I appreciate you. All I'm trying to say, I'm not even trying to flex or anything. I'm not, believe me, if you don't believe me, whoever's watching. But what I'm trying to say is Kayla, Gene Shinozaki, all these people I look up to. There's a lot more people like that. If you want to think that you're like me and like them, there's a lot more people like us than you think there are. It's just they don't want us to think that. You know, the people who benefit from the status quo, the people who are at the top of the power hierarchy. I'm not just talking Swiss beatbox Capone, you know, I'm just saying in the world, in the whole class struggle of humanity, you know, all of our countries are run by capitalistic, you know, oligarchic type groups, people of power, right? Pinning us against each other, right? The people who are in power want us to stay divided and want us to think there's less of us than there actually are, but there's actually more of us than you think, you know, those of us on the right side of history, right? Hopefully, you know, I mean, I'm not even going to say hopefully. I know that. It's just hard to remember that sometimes because you're just sometimes surrounded every day by ignorance or bigotry or hatred or microaggressions or just, you know, people being not very nice humans to other people, you know, even if it's passively, just through language, right? Don't worry. There's more of us than you think there are, you know? It's not just me. I'm not rare at all. There's plenty of people like me, you know? I appreciate that. No, thank you. You give me a lot of credit for someone that you barely know, but I appreciate that a lot, my friend. Um, um, Blagodaria, Blagodaria. Merci, merci. I appreciate that. Anyways, yeah, give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, no, shout out to our Bulgarian beatbox brothers, sisters, and diverse. Shout out to our Balkan beatbox community, and yeah, shout out to our Slavic beatbox community as well. You need to see more of y'all. I've been following the Arabic beatbox community a lot too. You guys should check out Casa Beatbox. They got some crazy battles, some crazy beatboxers, and the Latino American beatbox community as well. I mean, not just Chile, even though they're amazing, and they got Thomas Acre. But yeah, I'm gonna come back in a second. I'm gonna send y'all something in the chat. Whoever's watching, which is only 2 people, that's fine. Probably offended someone, you know, whatever, you know. If that's what people are getting offended about, I'd rather them leave. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna put something up. Everyone who's watching, which are just 2 people, I guess, RL, you, bless you, and whoever else is watching, I'm gonna send you guys a link. Do me a favor, if you want to benefit from this video, I'm gonna have to say this again because more people are gonna come. If y'all want to benefit from this video, fully, please follow my instructions. Open up the link. It's not a virus or anything. Don't worry if that sounds sketchy. It's just my beatbox vocal-based resource. I'm sure if you're watching this, you subscribe to my channel, you know what I'm talking about. You can even find it on many videos in my channel. But I'm gonna send it to y'all in the chat so everyone can look at the same thing at the same time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of give 60 seconds to explaining every base in that document. And I'll be right back. Let me just send y'all that link. Go ahead and open it up, get it open, you know, and we can get started once I'm situated. I love Antel. Okay, I think I've got the link up. Just a canobin, just a canobin. Strut like. Here we go. There's probably like only one person left. I appreciate that, man. Maybe not to you. Maybe not to you and someone who has the values that you do and that you and I probably share. But some people don't like it when people want to be inclusive in their speech and in their language. Some people don't like it when people include diverse groups of people. And you're like, how can that be, Alkmi? It's like, well, I'm not just talking about race or ethnicity. Like, yeah, there's racist and nationalistic and racially discriminative and prejudiced people, but there's also people that are homophobic and they're misogynistic and they're transphobic and they don't like talking about people who aren't able-bodied people. They don't like talking about disabled people. They'd rather just make fun of them, like a Beatbox bottle, which is a horrible example, they said, by the way. Some people don't like talking about women's rights. They like to pretend women already have equal rights to men. Some people don't like talking about gay people or trans people because they don't see them as human. It's really fucked up and it doesn't make any sense to me. But there are people that are taught like that and think like that, and they inherit those values from their parents and their culture or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or the conservative parts of their culture. People get offended when you want to include those types of groups of people in your conversation. Those people don't need to be part of the conversation I'm having. I won't change their mind to learn from the example they set. We should learn from better examples, people who don't think like them. That's what I'm talking about. If you're not offended by that, then you're welcome to stay here because you're probably someone that shares my values. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of trouble with that, my friend. It was not an easy sound. I don't know. My Postner, I don't think it comes out as clearly yet as I'd like it to. Like, some people don't like talking about male privilege because it makes them uncomfortable, but it's like, well, that's fine to feel uncomfortable, but inquire into that discomfort. Why do you feel uncomfortable when talking about male privilege? Is it because you may understand that you have unearned advantages as a male that you would not have as if you were female, Yeah, man, that's good. You're younger. And I think the younger generation of many countries, not just mine and yours, are starting to understand that and not just be race blind or color blind or gender blind, understand people than them and different groups than them and how they've been oppressed and struggle and just learn to listen and empathize better than previous generations, even previous generations in our own Beatbox community, I think more young people are starting to understand that, and it's becoming more normal, even if they're not teaching in schools, which is a good thing. You always want to be more progressive and more empathetic and more sensitive than previous generations, because those tend to be the desensitized folks communities, So good for you, man. I'm glad that you're like that. Keep being like that, even if you receive pressure to not be like that, because there's tons of people that want to make us think that there's not a lot of us. There's actually more of us than you think. I'll be right back. Hello, my beautiful friends, which is just two of you. That's all right. It's totally all right. Again, I guess I bored and or offended some people watching earlier. It's not politics to me, it's my values. Oh, now there's only one person watching. That's okay. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, now there's two. Cool. So I'm just gonna wait for a couple more people to get on. I'm gonna send you guys the link that I just mentioned. I'm gonna send you guys the link that I mentioned right now. If you're listening, if you weren't listening earlier, please just open. It's my vocal beatbox based resource that I published that I kind of put up on Beatbox Reddit. Just open that up. It's going to be the basis of what I talk about tonight. Okay. Okay, yeah. Ask me that one thing and tell me the good news, man. If y'all have any friends, tell them to join this live session. I'm trying to talk to as many people as possible about what I'm trying to talk about. You never seem to mind. Get off late in this broke down car of mine. to pick you up and take you out. Most of our short time, though it's not enough, you assured me that it's fine. Nose down, let's go for a ride. When I mess up, never give up your love, your motherfucker. But you spare me none. All I know is true. So much I love you. Hold up, running away. I swear I told you it's better to take all I know is true. Just how much I love you. I know what you're saying. Vocal fry is not the Jaden voice. It's called tight voice or humye, if you want to use the Tuvan Central Asian term for it. But no, I don't. There's a way to do it wrong, and there's a way to do it right, and there's a lot more ways to do it wrong than right. If you're feeling pain, you're probably doing it a wrong way. That's your normal voice. Your tight voice, or the Jaden voice, if I understand the anatomy correctly, it's like your false chords or your arytenoid cartilage. The mechanisms behind throat bass, that's why it feels similar to throat bass and vibration bass, they're pulling in, or they're kind of clamping on your vocal cords on both sides, so they're kind of muffling them. It produces a certain kind of filter, and if you're doing it right, it's not supposed to hurt anything. Vocal cords are still phonating. It's just the false chords and the arytenoid cartilages, the hardware around them, with tight voice, instead of it's just open. It's oh, yo, it's like pressing in. It's just compressing the signal, but it's not compressing your voice. Yeah, that's vocal fry. Yeah. Now bass, electric bass, alien, sweet dreams are made of this. Yeah, it's not supposed to hurt. Yo, yo. Not supposed to hurt. When you're getting uncomfortable by trying to do a Nels bass, electric bass, it's probably because you're trying to find the vocal fry in a way that's you're probably missing the vocal fry, and you're actually probably compressing your throat in a wrong way. Oh, that's subharmonic bass, right? Subharmonic register, where you line up the vocal fry with the voice. Right? And Nell's bass is just the tight voice, but with subharmonic register. So instead of it's so with vibration bass, I know they both use the tight voice. That's why it's hard for you. But Nell's bass is essentially the vocal fry with your outward tight voice. Alien. Think of vibration bass as your throat bass with your tight voice. You need a very good throat bass to have a better vibration bass. You can do vibration bass without a very developed throat bass, but you'll notice wah, 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 wah. Yeah. The more you practice throat bass, the better your vibration bass sounds. It's like throat bass and yo tight voice, you know. Well, if you're using Jayton voice, you gotta be careful because if you push it to the point where it starts activating your throat bass, it will turn into vibration bass. You can think of the separating the two as a Nels bass. You just keep your voice, keep it. Don't do anything else. Don't even try to activate throat bass. Just keep the note and add in a vocal fry. I know you may not know how to do that, all of you watching, but if you know how to do regular subharmonic register bass, oh, I added vocal fry there, see? At a 50-50 ratio. Vocal fry, oh, chest voice, right? Oh. Together, that's subharmonic register. You can add vocal fry while you're vocalizing. Just do that with a tight voice. Don't think vibration bass. Don't think pushing down. Because if you do, you'll get vibration bass. Yo. But if you just keep the note with your tight voice, and then add vocal fry, the same way you do a subharmonic register bass. You'll get an L space. Something like that, you know? The world can be one together. I'm just waiting for more people to come in if y'all joined recently. Check out that link I sent in the chat. It's got my vocal bass beatbox resource. Hey, greetings to whoever just joined. Check out my link that I sent in the chat. It's got my vocal bass resource. I'm going to be talking about all those basses tonight. Just waiting for more people to join. The world can be one together, cosmos without hatred, stars like diamonds in the sky. The ground can be space, 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 with feet marching towards a peaceful sky. All the moon men want things their way, but we make sure to see the sun. Some metal techniques do have, and screaming techniques do have similarities to bass, because a lot of the scream techniques, as I understand them, distortion, they use the false vocal folds or vocal fry. We say goodbye, moon man. Goodbye, moon man. Goodbye, moon man. Goodbye, moon man. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say subharmonic bass, subharmonic register bass was their version of throat bass. It's a really, really cool sound, and I think a lot more beatboxers are going to be using it in the near future, thanks to people like Enel, Indicator, and Zurek. You guys should all be on the lookout for subharmonic register based basses. They're going to be the next big thing. Yep, it's just vocal fry. Yeah, there is false fold or at least overtnoid compression with the tight voice. That's what I was trying to tell you, RL Smasher. Oh, yo, the tight voice. Oh, that's related to throat bass. Yo, oh, yo. That's where you can transition between them like that. You're using a similar posturing of the rhythmoid cartilage, as I understand it. You probably are over tensing your tight voice. Certain kind of tightness, but when you learn how to hold your throat in that posture, you should actually be relaxed when you're doing an L space, not tense. You know, you shouldn't be overly tense. Only tense enough for the tight voice to be. I can't. I cannot do the CTV vocal roll. That's why you probably hurt yourself, though, RL Smasher. You're tensing your tight voice beyond what's necessary for it to be tight voice, and you might have started over compressing it. You know, you got to just keep it the same. You can't get it more tense. Yeah, man. Moves without hatred, diamond stars, cosmic light, quasars shine through endless night, and everything is one in the beauty. You're just over compressing it. So goodbye, man. Goodbye, moonman. No, goodbye, moonman. Goodbye, I just wanna stay in the sun where I find. I know it's hard sometimes. Pieces of peace in sun's peace of mind. And I know it's hard sometimes. Oh, I'm falling, so I'm taking my time on my ride. Whoa, I'm falling, so I'm taking my time. Yeah, I've been working on if Mincho. Greetings. Let me know what country y'all are watching me from so I can give a shout out to y'all's communities. If you're talking about hard bass, which is a hybrid of chest bass and evil bass, which I'm going to talk about, everyone who's watching, please check my link that I left in the chat earlier. It's the link to my vocal bass, beatbox bass resource and guide that I wrote. I'm going to be referencing, I'm going to be explaining all of them tonight. Tomazakate's hard bass, I've been working on it. I'm not that good at it yet. It's not that consistent, but I'm working on it. No, I don't when I do an L bass or vibration bass or anything else using the tight voice. But I used to when I was inexperienced with the tight voice and with vibration bass. I used to. It's because you're not. If you only know how to do tight voice and you try to do an L's bass, you're going to end up making a lot more mistakes and hurting yourself a lot more, in my opinion, than if you know how to do tight voice very well. Not just talking in it, but being able to phonate different notes in it, being able to kind of access different parts of your chest voice register with the tight voice. Being able to keep doing it without making it more tense each time or less tense, being able to do it consistently, you'll avoid a lot of the inflammation I think you're having. I think you're just inexperienced with tight voice and you're just using your knowledge of it to just jump into an L bass. But the better foundation you have of your control with the consistency of tight voice, the less I think inflammation you'll experience related to the over tensing of tight voice when you're learning an L bass. Shora, what country are you watching us from? I am not ready to battle yet, but yeah, that's if you guys heard my hard bass, it's not very consistent yet. No, that was hard bass, but I'm not very consistent because I'm still getting vocalization. Look, I know we started our friendship through a conversation about evil bass, but I don't know if you've watched this, but since then, Domazakure released a tutorial on hard bass. It's on Ordo Dress channel. Take a look if you haven't. He basically explains what hard bass is. It's not what Psycho is teaching. Psycho's teaching evil bass, but he's calling it hard bass. Evil bass is, I think, the suprahyoid muscle related bass that comes from basically just trying to force out a scream. It's also the sound you make when you're trying to force out vocals when your throat is very tensed during vomiting. Like that. Eventually that turns into evil bass, like DJ Beans and all that, like Psychos. You can pitch it with your tongue position. I can't do it that well. But hard bass is not evil bass. Hard bass is evil bass and unvocalized chest bass. With gets you guys hear that? Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure about what you do, but if you do what Psycho does in his tutorial, you're not doing hard bass. I'm not trying to offend you or disappoint you, but you're not, because I understood what hard bass is and what evil bass is and what their relationships are to each other after watching Tomazakure's tutorial and then also watching my good friend Vickery Beast tutorial. Shout out to the Vickery Beast if any of y'all are watching and know him. He has a hard bass tutorial as well. Just look up his Q&A video, his most recent one. You can access hard bass even if you don't know evil bass, by forcing your unvocalized chest bass into the region where your evil bass would happen. That sounds really weird, RL, but just so you know, what I was doing is very unclean and it's not very consistent, but I know that to be hard bass. Like I've had my friends tell me that is hard bass. It's just I'm not getting the vocals out yet. Once you get good at hard bass, you can actually add vocals to your chest bass. So you get vocalized chest bass plus evil bass. That's like Tomazakure's higher, like level 2 hard bass. He can do the inward one too. I know, RL. Yeah, it does. But that's why you just got to learn it in increments. You're not developing scar tissue, nothing like that, what other people say, but you just have to get used to closing your throat off in such a way that the evil bass happens. Without it, you're just doing chest bass. If you don't do chest bass, like I think RL Smasher we were talking about, you're not doing hard bass. You're doing evil bass. Right? Whereas hard bass is more like hold on. Gotta get my vocals out. I want you to share that information. Whatever he left out, I'd love for you to share it. But do you not agree with him and with me that hard bass is not evil bass? Do you not agree that hard bass is chest bass plus evil bass? You don't believe that? Because I have friends who can do hard bass and they affirm what he's saying. Okay, good. Well, I don't know if you've watched this, but watch the Vickery Beast's tutorial on hard bass. Not his first one. Watch the Vickery Beast video called Q&A. I did what you asked me to. He gives a better version of his hard bass tutorial in that video. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Full of light. then John slowly kills you. Bruises that won't heal. You see the time not be brave. Government, oh, they don't speak. Yeah, if you read my Beatbox vocal-based resource, RL, I update it regularly. When I learn new things like evil bass and hard bass aren't the same thing, I add that to the resource. You should check it out. Alright, I'm going to do one more little guitar song. I'm sorry if I'm boring you guys. I just haven't played guitar in a while. RL Smasher asked if I still do music, so I just wanted to get out the grooves a little bit. Take a moment to think of just flexibility, love, and trust. Take a moment and think of just. That's okay, RL Smasher. Flexibility, love, and trust. Here comes a thought that might alarm me. What someone did. No, I'm not. I'm a baritone, and I'm actually I'm turning 26 this year, my friends. So if I look young, it's just because of those, Japanese, Korean, Asian genes. I'm young at heart, though. Things that I said feel to be charming. Things that I did feel suddenly swarming. Oh, I'm losing sight. I'm losing touch. All these little things seem to matter so much that they confuse me. Oops. That I might lose me. Take a moment and find yourself, and take a moment and remind yourself, hey, Vietnam! Big ups to our Vietnamese brothers, sisters, and family members of all genders and sexes. Teach me a Vietnamese phrase. How do you say thank you in Vietnamese? I appreciate that, man. Yeah, thanks. Enjoy it. Look through it while I get started and my mic set up. Take a moment, think of just flexibility, love, and trust. Here comes a thought that might alarm me. What someone did and how it harmed me. Things that I said failed to be charming. Things that I did are now suddenly swarming. I'm losing sight. I'm losing touch. All these little things seem to matter so much that they confuse me. That I might lose me. I haven't sang that song in a while. Try. Well, I'm not really doing this for bass singers, so in their defense, that information is probably a lot more valuable than what I'm doing, but there's just not really one place where you can go to learn beatbox bass techniques, I'm not sure if vocal bass singers could find, value in this, but we could, especially people like me who are like dubstep bass head beatboxers who love vocal basses, excuse me. So, yeah, I don't even know if you read that before, but yeah, it's been up for a while, and I just update regularly. And I just, when I was coming up and learning all these bases, I wanted to learn as many as possible, but there's no one person that knew all of them. I had to go to many different sources. So I just thought, why not help my contribution to the beatbox community be that I can maybe try to have the groundwork for something like that for future generations, for people that learn after me. You know what I'm saying? Son. Sunday morning rain is falling. Steal some colors, share some skin. Clouds are shrouding us in moments unforgettable. Twisty fate, the moment that I am in. Things just get so crazy. Living life gets hard to do. Sunday morning rain is falling. And I'm calling out to you. Sing someday it will lead me back to you. Someday it will lead me home to you. And maybe all that darkness, she is all I. Oh yeah, man. The only things that I really need is for people to have an easier time learning than I did, and for people to pass on the knowledge I shared with them. To have as many people be able to learn these amazing vocal techniques that the human voice can do as magic as possible, and for people to be able to teach as many people as possible too. No, I can't do the 2H double voice. Kirby Beatbox is a great tutorial on that, Shora, but I can do the polyphonic voice though. And the I can do the Sogo double voice, sideways yodeling. Driving slow on Sunday morning, and I never want to leave. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, both of you, or just 3 of you watching, my Beatbox resource. Please, everyone, could you please open this up now? I'm going to start talking about the bases now. I think enough people have come in. I don't think there's going to be any more than this, guys. But if you guys could please open up those resources now. Go ahead and type me the good news, RL. But RL, Shora, the person I was speaking to earlier, could you all please open up the Beatbox vocal-based resource I sent out in the chat? Could you guys please open that up? And I'm going to talk about each of the bases. Yeah. So we're going to get this little shindig started, all right? So I was warning you guys with my guitar. Nay. What more do you want from me? Hitting on my 2, 2, 3s now. Got to agree that just dummy shit to me now. Do you want from me? On my 2, 2, 3s now. I like the way you work it. No diggity. No diggity. I gotta back it up. I'll biggity. Combining electric bass, so Anel's subharmonic register bass with hard bass. That's so dope, dude. I know you can vocalize hard bass, but I didn't know you could vocalize with a vocal fry bass. I didn't think the tension will allow for it. Yeah, I can't do 2H double voice outward. I want to learn it, but it's not on my top priority of sounds to do. I don't know. Whoever asked me for Tomazakure's hard bass, hopefully that was enough for you. Again, it's not very good, but it's I'm working on it. RL, it probably just didn't sound like hard bass to you because it's not that low yet. I have to like basically hard bass is kind of a paradox because I've learned, you know, most as I'm going to talk to you guys, most vocal basses are two different things oscillating just at the right frequency or the right ratio to produce a third tone, a bass tone, you know. Our voice and our larynx and our pharynx naturally have different kind of structures or properties that can oscillate with the voice. The exception being the subharmonic register family or the vocal fry related family, because that's just your own voice vibrating at different ratios between its two folds, you know. But yeah, RL, that's cool. I mean, my friend Vickery Beast, please, everyone, check out Vickery Beast. He's a very nice guy. He's very humble. He's extremely talented. He gives great tutorials. He's a guy of many sounds, like, you know, Ping Pong Po, and he generously gives them away, you know. Please check out his channel. Vickery Beast, RL, my friend, he discovered that you can do poly sub bass. If any of you don't know what poly sub bass is, it's indicator bass. He calls it alien bass too, but it's a subharmonic register relay bass. My friend RL, he discovered he can do vocalized chest bass with poly sub bass. So it's like poly sub vocalized chest bass. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And I think what you're saying reminded me of that because hard bass is because it's a hybrid bass. It's technically in the chest bass family. It's chest bass and evil bass. So I know you can vocalize hard bass because you can do vocalized chest bass with evil bass. But apparently, if you can do poly sub bass with chest bass, then yeah, you should be able to do other kinds of subharmonic register basses with chest bass, like Anel's electric bass with chest bass with evil bass. That's like yeah, like a subharmonic electric bass plus hard bass. You know, I mean, there's many possibilities that I haven't even touched on in my vocal bass resource. I just wanted that to be like a starting point for like the main 5 families of vocal basses and beatboxing. I think based on anatomy. Like there's 5 kind of main ways for other oscillators in your throat to work to create basses. Notice I'm talking about vocal basses, not non-vocal basses like you know, and the cheek oscillation, which I can't do. Those are all non-vocal basses. I'm talking about vocal basses that use the components of your vocal tract, okay? I think there's 5 main families, as you guys have probably all read in my resource. The ones related to the false folds, that's your throat bass family. The ones that are related to your epiglottis, that's both your chest bass and your inward bass family. The ones that are related to your vocal fry, or the subharmonic register bass, so the vocal fry family, the subharmonic family. The ones that are related to your uvula, or the Starsky bass family. Most of you know by now, if you've watched my live streams, I really don't like calling it vocal bass, and I'll explain later why if you guys don't know why, but I explained it in my vocal bass resource as well. And then the 5th one is the evil bass family, which involves, I think, your suprahyoid muscles, or maybe just your false folds if it's related to distortion, the vocal technique distortion, which is kind of the muscles involved in swallowing and vomiting. 5 families. Basically, the suprahyoid family, suprahyoid muscle family, the uvular family, the vocal fry related family, the epiglottal family, and the false fold family. You know, that basically is my working kind of hypothesis of what kind of encompasses most of the vocal basses in beatboxing, you know? That's true, but right now I'm just trying to learn like my main palette of basses. I have a lot of vocal basses I can do, but once I've learned all of them that I want to, and there's really only one left that I'm trying to get under my belt, I'm gonna just start making routines with them and actually start making material and using them. You know, like a producer. You know, I'm just like a Pokemon trainer, collecting and catching all the sounds I want to, and then I'm gonna go into producer mindset and then, you know, grind and make. 2H is it's kind of tight. I know, yeah, you're right. I've seen the explanation for it, Shora. I know how it works, like theoretically. Like you're pinching your abs and you're creating a tension in such a way that cuts off an overtone from your voice that follows your voice, whatever note it changes to. So that's unlike polyphonic voice, where if you want to be able to sing in different notes with polyphonic voice, you have to be able to learn how to apply your chest voice and your falsetto at the same time for every single different note. With 2H double voice, this pinching posture you do creates an overtone that's like a shadow of your voice or a reflection, just mirrors whatever note you change to. So you don't need to learn 2H double voice in different tones to learn how to sing with it. You do need to learn polyphonic voice. You need to relearn it for every single different note. I can only do polyphonic voice in some notes. That's really cool. You should report back to me on progress that you make with that. I'm really excited to hear what kind of progress you make with that, man. I really am. Let's see here. So I'm gonna get some water, freshen up a bit, and then yeah, we can get started. I really don't want to take that long, but I will give each bass ample time. I'll try to shoot for about 60 minutes. If I can do the bass, I'll show it, and if I can't, I'll just explain it, and I can send you guys links to any kind of YouTube videos that are good examples of the bass. All right. All right, we're about to get this party started. Of course, man. Of course it will. But unfortunately, like I said, if you can get a Discord or if you're ever inclined to get one, that's how I'm available to talk to. I'm much more available than on YouTube. But yeah, I love to be able to talk to you. I'm sure we could learn a lot. I'm sure I could learn a lot from you. I definitely could. And hopefully I could maybe help you learn a couple things too. Maybe even just as a beatboxer, I could learn from you. You know, I love our community. I love the vocal basses in beatboxing. They're like a subgenre in the beatbox community. It's a subgenre of beatbox music. Like look at inertia stuff, look at hard style stuff. You know, I think in the future that may be like a sub community in beatboxing or a sub style. You know, just vocal basses. Well, if you ever learn, it's free to use. It doesn't cost any money. You can do voice calls or video calls with people. It'll connect you to a lot of the online beatbox community. So I think it would only advantage you if you got a Discord. I've been benefited from it a lot. I've been able to make many friends across the world and learn, and I've been able to collect and amass a lot of information, especially about what I'm passionate about, which is vocal basses. That greatly helped me in the creation of my resource for y'all. I was able to do that with the thanks of YouTube, but also Discord. It helped me expand my network and my ability to connect with other beatboxers and access information that I did not have, you know, when starting out on my journey, you know. Cool. Cool. Isn't that weird? Yeah, we all have that one sound, right? I think that was one of the first things I could do with my voice. I mean, throw bass is the first vocal bass I intentionally tried to learn, but make no mistake, chest bass, that's what many people can do sounds as a kid. That was my sound I could do as a kid. I could do a lot of sounds as a kid, but in terms of vocal basses, yeah, it's my first vocal bass I could do. It was basically like my version of a dragon's growl or like a monster growl. I thought of it as a dragon growl. Like, I don't know. Luke, I am your father. Just it's different chest basses. Yeah, not a lot of beatboxers know that there's different kinds or different kinds of inward basses. You know, like versus I said, come on. Or just and most people don't know there's differences between inward basses, and they just think, oh, it's genetics, man, you know. You know, yeah, that's what I'm trying to help clear up misinformation and like, oh no, it's that bass, or no, it's this bass, or that's not this bass. You know, there's so many arguments and discussions I'm sure we've all seen on the Beatbox comment section of YouTube videos, you know, about like misunderstandings of basses, because there's not like one place where people can go to have like a solid trustable source of differentiating these basses and explaining how they work and how they are related to each other or not related to each other. You know, I'm trying to have a space for that, you know, a space where people can learn, who are passionate about vocal basses and who can equip themselves to teach other people, you know. It might be vibration, but no. Well, a lot of people think that either subharmonic registers throat bass when they've tried learning and they don't get throat bass, or slizzer basses, like, which is if you're talking about like Vinos, that's slizzer bass. It's a hybrid of throat bass and vocalized chest bass. I'm going to get into that. Throat bass can be done one of two ways. This is more related to like modes of your voice, but it's like the difference between talking like this and talking like this, or sorry, talking like this and talking like this. Versus oh. So like the whispery throat bass versus the tight throat bass. But anyways, if everyone gets out the vocal bass resource, so I'm gonna just talk about each one. All right, starting at throat bass. Throat bass is a bass that's caused by your true folds vibrating with your false vocal folds. All right, so that's don't worry, I'll talk about BV space too. It can be done through your nose, through your mouth, through both, or through your nose, but opening your mouth to shape overtones. Most basses can, okay? You can do it the tight way, which is like the Marcus Perez way. It's more constricted. Or you can do it the whispery way, which is applying a whispery kind of texture to your voice. It's like codfishes. Yeah, no. It's a lot less tense too. No. When you wanna go home. No. Vibration bass is also caused by the true folds and the false folds vibrating as each other, with each other, but it's the second subharmonic of throat bass. It's the false folds vibrating more than the true folds are, at a ratio of a fourth rather than the fifth. Yeah. No. And then you can also do vibration based on one of two ways. With the whispery throat bass texture. No.
Or with the tight, non-whispery throat bass. Like inertia, right? MTS, inertia, remix are all popular vibration-based users. Reaps 1, Codfish, Kenny Urban, Heat from Canada, those are all popular throat-based users.
I know. I'm pretty much the same way, Arl, but not with chest bass, but with evil bass. It's funny. Certain
Parts of your throat activate when other parts are activated with sufficient pressure, or they can be activated on your own, as we'll learn. So that's vibration bass. And that's pretty much the false fold family. The epiglottal family includes the chest basses and the inward basses. That's unvocalized chest bass. A lot of beatboxers use this to emphasize their kicks. Reach One uses it for his silver bass or his sonic boom. Right? Vocalized chest bass is your epiglottis vibrating with your true vocal folds. True vocal folds in your epiglottis. It's not just the false fold like David Larson says. Otherwise, if you added your voice to your false folds, it would give you throat bass. And that's not the case. If you add your voice to chest bass, it gives vocalized chest bass. Therefore, chest bass cannot be just your false folds vibrating. Okay. I think chest bass is more like it's like a whisper, so there's no vocals.
heavy breathing.
There's a certain posture of your voice where I think if you lower your Adam's apple, if you're a biological male, you'll get your epiglottis, which is the flap that helps separate your food tube from your wind tube, the tube for breathing versus the tube for eating. You can get it to orient in a way to flap. If you can do inward bass, it's basically just the outward version of this oscillation. If you can do inward bass, that's the chest bass. That's the epiglottis. David Larson was mistaken when he said it's just your false folds vibrating on their own. If it were, if you added your vocal chords, your true folds to it, it should give you throat bass, which it doesn't. Throat bass is a different thing than vocalized chest bass. Vocalized chest bass is very subwoofery if you do it towards the low end of your voice. Mixed with gives you if you pressurize vocalized chest bass, it gives you bass Ventura bass. Shout out to Cynthia Mia. Really whipped me into shape and said, your bass Ventura bass is not that clean. I can give you some tips, and I appreciate that. Shout out to our UK brothers, sisters, and folks of all genders. So you get it's a form of slizer bass, in my opinion. Slizer bass it's like a hybrid of and throat bass and vocalized chest bass. If you pressurize vocalized chest bass, kind of the mid range of your voice, you'll get Slizzer's bass. It's a hybrid. If you kind of like depressurize those reverb bass and kind of redistribute the tension in the same way you do with throat bass to get vibration bass. No, 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 no. You get bass and turbo bass as well. You can also just get that from pressurizing vocalized chest bass on the low end of your vocals, though. It's not that clean. I'm not that good at bass mature bass, disclaimer. You can also vocalize chest bass to get a high vocalized chest bass with your head voice, your falsetto. The inward bass family is also caused by your epiglottis vibrating, so it's also part of the epiglottal family. You get the normal dry one, like the one Tyler W teaches. That's just unvocalized inward bass or unvocalized chest bass inwards. The one Inertia uses, the one that's a lot deeper, more full sounding, it's called vocalized inward bass. Now, everyone thinks of the high one when they hear vocalized inward bass, but that's because that's basically taking the name vocalized inward bass for itself. But there's another kind of vocalized inward bass, just like how there's a chest bass where you can vocalize that with your head voice, your falsetto. You can vocalize your chest bass with your chest voice too. Right? You can do the same thing with inward bass. You can vocalize it with your high to get. I'm not as good at that. You can vocalize it with your low inward vocals. Yeah. To get. Like Inertia's standard one. You can pressurize this low vocalized inward bass. That gives you hollow vocalized inward bass, or hollow inward, as Helium vocoder calls it. It's the one D Mello uses. Also, Trung Bao GTS uses it. Remix uses it. A lot of people mistake this for D-Lo's inward bass because it's a lot thicker than just regular vocalized inward bass. I can't do 626 effects. I'm sorry. It's like taking advantage of a burp. So hollow vocalized inward bass is. Also, B-Art. This is B-Art's inward bass. It's hollow vocalized inward bass because you can hollow out your throat while you're doing vocalized inward bass, and it pressurizes your vocalized inward bass. It makes the vibrations migrate to a more specific lower part of your throat. Because normal vocalized inward bass is more airy. Excuse me. It's very smooth. Yeah, I've heard of people who combine like the Starsky bass with other basses like throat bass or subharmonic. It's crazy. That's a very unexplored area as well. Thank you, RL. So that's hollow vocalized. So if you hollow out your throat, you pressurize the vocalized inward bass, and it can make it deeper and thicker, like B-Arts or remixes. It's not D-Lo's because it's not gurgly. It's just thicker. Vocoder can do all these, by the way. I highly encourage y'all to check out his music. He's amazing. He's insane. He's one of the best American beatboxers currently. It's the one GTS uses too. And BR. Another way of thinking about it is vocalized inward bass is the inward version of I appreciate that. Thank you. It's just practice. It's not genetics. It's just understanding the right parts of your throat to oscillate and doing them, and not hurting yourself. Proper instruction and guidance and practice. But vocalized inward bass is like the inward version of vocalized chest bass. Wow, wow. It's a lot thicker than chest bass, right? Wow, wow. Right? You can think of the positioning for hollow vocalized inward bass as kind of like slither bass, like a pressurized vocalized chest bass. No, it's not. I think Delos is more brutal. But shout out to PR and Heart Cell. But so it's like outward vocalized chest bass, inward vocalized bass, right? Vocalized inward bass. Slither bass, more pressurized, right? Excuse me. Slither bass. It's like the same kind of tension you're applying to your vocalized chest bass to get it to turn into slither bass. Much more open, right? Much more closed off and tight. Same kind of concept. Versus versus right. I'm not sure. I really don't. I can't do that. I can't. And Delos, and then helium's inward bass is basically cutting off the airflow of a vocalized inward bass. So instead of and the basic inward bass, it's actually more like an inward vocal fry. Wow. And inward bass. So helium's inward bass would be like. I can't quite do it yet. I can't even really do it. So it's not really different components. It's just your epiglottis and your vocal cords inward. It's like the breath you use to get a normal dry basic inward bass. No voice, right? It's just like a whisper. Just like chest bass is a whisper outward. Just with your epiglottis flapping. Vocalized inward bass is just adding your vocals. So instead of the breath being used to activate your inward bass being I think of it as the breath you're using to activate your inward bass is an inward voicing, an inward vocalization, an inward phonation in your chest voice range. Not that'd be the high inward bass, but just like the robot voice. Not inward vocal fry. That's like helium's. It's inward vocal fry and inward bass. He's cutting off the air for a vocalized inward bass. Regular vocalized inward bass, RL, is just your inward voice plus inward bass. So think of the breath that you're using to activate a normal inward bass. Just try to replace that breath with an inward voice as the breath to activate normal inward bass. If you line up your voice with your epiglottis, of course, perfectly, it'll create a super low subwoofer level octave. Just like vocalized chest bass, how it's a lot deeper than normal chest bass. It's got the voice. Versus this is not going to be as deep as. And then you can pressurize it by doing the hollowing out your throat position or kind of doing like an inward slizzer bass. What I was mentioning earlier was D-Low's inward bass is a type of uvular inward bass that I can't do but vocoder explain this, and it is so close to toast and repeal. And regular vocalized inward bass, so. And a type of uvular inward bass, which I can't do, gives you. It's very cut off, closed off, and it's there's lots of mid-range frequencies in D-Low's inward bass too, because of the uvular component. It's very gurgly sounding. So normal inward bass is like normal vocalized inward basses.
Give me 1 second, guys. Give myself lots of hiccups with all that inward bass. So, D-Low inward bass
is, in my opinion, it's thicker than hollow vocalized inward bass because it has that uvular component that's giving it that gurgle texture. It's very thick. It's a lot more demonic sounding, in my opinion. Whereas hollow vocalized inward bass is like pressurized near the bottom end. D-Low's inward bass is kind of more, it's like vocalized inward bass plus another component. It's more pressurized and closed off near the top end, your pharynx. Where Starsky bass happens, your uvula. That's where the closure is. There's 2 points of oscillation. It's your epiglottis and your two vocal cords. That's the first system. And then the uvula component, which is caused by you closing your throat off in a certain way near the top of your throat, near your uvula, which many people call the stitch voice. Oh, my mom's stitch. That gives you. Which is different than a lot of people think people who use hollow vocalized inward bass is D-Low's inward bass, but it's not. Like GTS or Remix, they're not doing D-Low inward bass. BR, no. They're doing like the pressurized vocalized inward bass or hollow vocalized inward. And Vocoder does all of these, of course. D-Low and Rawfly and Ping Pong Po do the, basically, it's a hybrid inward bass. It's a vocalized inward bass plus like a uvula kind of inward bass. None of them do it on its own, but Vocoder does. Sometimes it's hard to maintain D-Low inward bass, and my throat gets confused with hollow vocalized inward bass, but yeah. I'm still working on it. I think I've got a pretty good handle on it, though. the duck hi-hat. Yeah, I can. But anyway, sorry for that break. But the D-low inward bass is basically a uvula type of inward bass alongside the vocalized inward bass. Versus they're different, you know, but similar in that they're both thicker. There's not a lot oscillating in addition to your inward chest bass RL, but to answer your original question, but the D-low inward bass, you do have to learn how to kind of close your throat off and concentrate the tension near your uvula while you're doing inward bass. And the remix BR Trung Bao one, you have to learn how to hollow out your throat while you're doing vocalized inward bass. That's kind of those variations. And then the high vocalized inward bass obviously is just your high inward head voice, high inward chest, inward falsetto with your inward bass. And then 2H inward bass is a high vocalized inward bass, but you're not vocalizing it with an inward head voice or inward falsetto. You're using an inward polyphonic gasp. So like I can't do it that well, but it sounds like a dinosaur, you know? So it's like an inward polyphonic gasp with your inward bass, with your tongue in the type of position where it's bent back and towards the diagonal back of your molars. Watch ping pong pose tutorial on it. It's a very good one. So that's the inward basses essentially, and the chest basses. Benji's bass is essentially a vocalized chest bass, but he's pressurizing it so that the epiglottis, the chest bass, is vibrating a fifth underneath his voice, like Gene's lip bass. Sorry. You hear that? That's a power chord. That's a dyad of a fifth. First fifth. You can do that with chest bass too. GTS has told me in a conversation in our comment section once that the chest bass likes to vibrate at a fifth away from the true voice. You can force it to be the same note as it. That's kind of what he calls scissor bass. Or you can allow the chest bass with your vocals to have two tones. Naturally likes to be a fifth. That's what Benjamin, when he said you have to adjust your chest bass whenever your voice changes a note, because you're not doing an octave. You're not doing your voice an octave beneath it or 2 octaves beneath it for your chest bass. Benja's vocalized chest bass is where the chest bass, the epiglottis component, is a fifth, an interval of a fifth from the home note, which is your voice's note. That's why it sounds so cool and diphonic, and polyphonic. It's a power chord. It's like Gene's lip bass, but the chest bass version of it. He didn't go over that in his tutorial, but I can hear it. I've heard his video like so many times just to try to figure this out. But basically, yeah, that's why his sound is more crisp. It's because it's 2 tones, and it is more pressurized. But that's not what makes it sound different. What makes it sound different is it's a dyad. It's not just the same note. You guys hear that? That's Benja's. All right, so we'll move on to the uvular bass category. There's 2 ways to do Starsky bass. P-Watt's way is very tight, so you're not allowing the uvula to oscillate that much. It's just your uvula oscillating and your true vocal cords. It's very smooth sounding bass. If you take away the voice from P-Watt's, it would sound more like a duck. It's a very tight oscillation. RL, that's a really cool bass and idea. I think someone may have came up with that before you. 2H did that a lot, and I believe Tyler W does too. If you look up Tyler W's tutorial on primal fear tongue bass, let me know if that's the same one as what you just called screaming tongue bass, because he's basically doing a pressurized tongue bass, and he introduces basically what you're saying, a tension friction that's like a duck sound, and it makes it sound more hissy and more aggressive. I can't do it. I never tried fucking with that, but just listen to what he does, and then even 2H back in the days when he before he went to the South Korean military, you can do Starsky bass a looser kind of way too, the way Duds does it. That's why the one Duds and Zeka from Spain do. That's why their Starsky bass sounds different than P-Wads. It's not as of a clean gurgle. It's more of a loose gurgle, like. Psycho Clown. Right? I don't like doing that one as much. It's kind of the difference between the 2 Starsky basses. You can hear that. Your tongue isn't humped up as much for the Duds version. It allows the uvula to oscillate more freely than for P-Wads, which is more high up and constricts the uvula's oscillation more. It's a lot like the difference between and very, very, very tight versus loose, right? So what's the difference between your bass and primal fear tongue bass? Like, you're saying it's a special H texture which gives it the hissing sound. Yours is more of like a duck sound. I can't do the trilled R tongue bass. I can only do the theta tongue roll, like the trap I had. Like the Contrix one, not the. So I wouldn't be able to do that. Not the one that you need for OD bass. But anyways, those are the 2 types of Starsky bass. There's another kind of uvula vocal bass that Shido from the UK does. Shout out to our UK community. He calls it distortion bass. I can't do it, but it's a very highly pressurized Starsky bass, more pressurized than P-Wads, to the point where it sounds Well, it sounds distorted. That's what he calls a distortion bass. Take a look. Go to his channel, show him some love, and then watch his vocal bass tutorial. I don't call it that, but Starsky bass, but he talks about distortion bass in the middle of that one. On to the next family. Now this is the vocal fry related family. Let me just get my throat in the right position. Okay. You can make your vocal cords themselves oscillate at two different ratios. That can take advantage of the subharmonic principle of creating undertones from two different harmonies, two different notes harmonizing at a certain ratio to create an undertone from them. This is not throat bass. It's a lot looser and smoother, but it's very equivalent because it gets you down an octave, and your voice is not the same way throat bass does. It's just it doesn't sound as thick, and it sounds more like your actual voice, like you're just applying an octave or effect. Subharmonic register is basically your natural outward chest modal voice register with a 50-50 mix of that and your outward vocal fry, which is your lowest human vocal register. There's 4 human vocal registers: the vocal fry, the modal voice or the chest voice, the falsetto, and the whistle register, which is, I can't do that, but so can. So can Mr. Androide, and so can Beatness, and so can Tom Thumb, and Mariah Carey can too. An American singer. That's vocal fry, complete relaxation of the voice, right? We have this in the morning, right? That's like Darney's acid bass. It's just vocal fry with vocalization in it. If you have your ho, ho, your chest voice with your vocal fry, mix that 50-50 ratio, you get sorry. That's subharmonic register, all right? David Larson's a great teacher of it, and he has a lot of information on this, so check out his channel on this. Just don't take with a grain of salt what he says on things like the growl or fire breathing or chest bass. That's caused by your epiglottis. I have stroboscopic evidence to prove that, not your false faults on their own. Yeah, I do. Just find me ALKMI space BEATS hashtag 0424. Alkmi Beats hashtag 0424. That's my Discord. That's subharmonic register bass. It comes from the vocal world. It's also called the octavist. If you combine your tight voice, which is kind of vocal filter in Tuvan culture, they call that humye, with your outward vocal fry, that gives you a special type of subharmonic register bass. Some people call NL bass, or he calls it electric bass. It's not a form of vibration bass. It's just using tight voice. Yo, yo, tight voice. That's Nell's electric bass. It's just subharmonic register, which is a mix of your outward chest voice and your outward vocal fry, applied with a tight voice filter on it, like Jayden's voice. Indicator's bass, which is very cool and very much deeper than vibration bass, is the third level of the subharmonic register bass. The subharmonic register follows the undertone series, which is a mathematical series that's just basically an an inversion of the overtone series, which is a bunch of notes that tend to ring in harmony with each other that follow predetermined mathematical order. The technique of overtones is taking advantage of isolating certain overtone intervals that always occur with any note that you sing or phonate. There's an infinite amount of them. But basically the undertone series is basically, it's the guide to what note interval you will hit next at each subharmonic level. The subharmonic levels are infinite, like David Larson says, but the result of your vocal fry and your voice basically harmonizing at a fifth from each other creates an octave under. That's the first subharmonic level per the undertone series. The second subharmonic level created by a fourth in the fundamental, that'll create it'll create a fifth down from that. So it's an octave and a fifth under the original voice's note. Yo. I know, nose and bass and vibration bass. Sitting in silence. You know. But the third subharmonic level is achieved with a third and then the fundamental tone, and that's 2 octaves under the original voice's note. And then the fourth subharmonic level is a major third under that, and so on and so forth. But that's the undertone series. If you're wondering why those numbers are the way they are, it's because they're just an inversion of the overtone series, which is like first an octave, and then like I think a fifth, and like a minor third, and so on and so forth. But anyways, the only thing you need to know here is that indicators polysub bass is is the third subharmonic level. It's just your 2 vocal cords, but whereas it's just your normal voice, and L's is indicators is it's really hard to get loud. It's very delicate. I may come back to that. And then the last family is the family based on the vomiting or swallowing muscles, the suprahyoid muscles. They're just, long story short, they're a set of 4 muscles that are around your hyoid bone, which is a saddle-shaped bone. In the middle of your neck, if you're biological male, it's protruded out a little more, and it's called an Adam's apple. It's by the thyroid cartilage. These 4 muscles are the digastric, the geniohyoid, the mylohyoid, and the stylohyoid. Pretty sure only the stylohyoid, mylohyoid, and the digastric, the posterior and anterior bellies, are responsible for swallowing and evil bass. But basically, the sound you make when you're trying to constrict your throat a lot when you're about to vomit, and no sound or voice will come out, that's evil bass. It's what DJ Bean does. I can't really do it. I can't really do it. It's a crackling sound, like vocal fry similarly, but it's very tight and it's very tense, evil bass. Hard bass, which is Tom Mazakire's like very famous signature bass, which he's not the only one that does it. Ping Pong Po does it now. Mix Effects could always do it, but he just called it evil bass. It's like the deeper evil bass, essentially. Dom Beats does it from Mexico, Puebla, Mexico. Yeah, some beatboxers can do it. Yeah, Max from Palestine can do it. It's just unvocalized chest bass with evil bass. Sometimes doing D lows and or bass helps me get the hard bass. Maxo. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like hearing evil bass more. Very dubsteppy. But yeah, I can't do hard bass that well. But it's very dubstep sound. It's very grimy. It's very digital sounding. It's very inhuman bass. It's a very cool bass. Not very low. It's got lots of mids. It's very gurgly and guttural and aggressive. But it's really great for heavy dubstep drops. You can vocalize your chest bass with normal chest voice vocalization to get vocalized hard bass. You can do inward hard bass, and then you can do you can do a high inward hard bass, which basically can sound like the crow sound, because the crow sound, what we know as the crow sound, is actually just your head voice, your falsetto with evil bass. It's like a vocalized evil bass that's high. It's the grittiness of the crow sound. Because if you check out Alexis Vieiras's tutorial on evil bass, he says you can learn evil bass. He calls evil bass by just doing the crow sound and taking away the high vocalization. Now, finally, basically, that's most of the basses I can explain and understand. There's probably more. One kind of unknown area I know is Griff, a UK beatboxer of almost like 9 years ago. He has this very tensed, not throat bass that he does. And some people mistake it for evil bass, but it's not. It's vocalized. Maybe related to the vocal technique called distortion from the metal and the singing world. But essentially, Griff, he's not the only one that uses Griff bass. There's only one tutorial on it, which is Clickbait, which is a Russian tutorial. Unfortunately, it's in Ruski. But if any of you listen to One Drain, who was a Romanian beatboxer, he was a bass beatboxer, just like us. He loved basses. He could do throw bass, vibration bass and bass, but he did a very tense type bass that some people thought was evil bass, and so did Inertia when Inertia used to battle him in online daily rap beatbox battles. That is Griff bass. I have proof of it. I've screenshotted One Drain saying this in comments himself. He doesn't beatbox anymore. He left the scene about 2 or 3 years ago to pursue programming. He's not dead, by the way. Some people say R.I.P. One Drain, but I checked that up just to make sure, to verify myself he's not. But Griff bass, I'm not sure what vocal component causes that. But I think Adi Kerang's high bass, I think that's a high vocalized, it's a high Griff bass. Because if you listen to some of Griff from the UK's early videos, like back in the day, probably before a lot of you joined beatboxing, he has a high version of his bass he does. It sounds just like Adi Kerang. So I think Adi Kerang is not doing high evil bass. That's like the crow sound. It'd be more rough sounding. His is like smoother, but it's very tense still. I think that is high Griff bass. So whatever Griff bass is. Yeah. I'm very inconsistent with my hard bass. But yeah, polysub is hard to get your throat to relax. I love trap music. I love trap music. Vibration based helps me get to do vocal fry.
Sorry, you guys are just hearing this. I'm just trying to get a good poly sub bass for y'all.
So surely I can do it because it's like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know how to do this bass. Essentially, if you guys want to learn how to do poly sub bass, an indicator explains this himself. It's just a nasal subharmonic note, and an orally projected subharmonic note. I will check on Max though. That's cool. He calls it power bass. Yeah, you can vocalize equal bass though. But yeah, that's all the bases I had to explain to you guys. I can end with a little freestyle, and then I gotta get going. I know, right? Yeah, because the Nels has a different filter on it, and Nels is a little more complex, but Indicators is a lot more delicate. I think that's a good comparison. But yeah, so yeah, I'll look up Max. So that's a really cool idea about your type of tongue bass, though. I'm not as interested in non-vocal basses as vocal basses are, but that does sound like an original sound that you have like a duck voice hybrid of tongue bass. I've seen more people kind of playing around with the idea of duck sound being like a synth or a bass. So like that's gonna be cool, you know, like Improver, BR, you know, Anto. It's just gonna be like it's gonna become the next big thing, right? Yeah, that wasn't my freestyle, but thank you. Den actually uses the same inward bass Helium does, and so does Tropical from Kazakhstan.
It's basically the inward vocal fry vocalized inward bass, or the shut off air vocalized inward bass.
If any of you can learn it, please give me tips on how to. I've been trying to. I always, when I try to shut off there, I always get my hollow vocalized inward bass, you know? Yeah.
I can't do it. Anyways. Okay.
Whip.
All right, I'll be serious.
Yeah, it's the shut off air inward bass. It's the Helium inward bass, I'm pretty sure. Take your one down and I drop it like that. Take your one down and yeah. When I drop it like that. Yeah.
Sorry. All right, 1 second, guys. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I gotta go now. But I'm glad I got to share this time with you. I guess only like 4 or 5 people watched total, but hopefully I'll just keep this up as an archive, kind of a good one place where you can kind of have explanations for all the bases I list in my resource. I'll probably post a more official video like this when I have more of a handle on like all of them better. I'm really sorry for my shitty bass from Turbase. That's the only one I kind of regret. I don't know. Maybe I don't practice on the mic as much. But yeah, guys, I gotta get going soon. But yeah, thanks for sharing this time with me. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to drop that much of a freestyle, but. Gotta take the vocals out of that. All right, but yeah, till next time, guys. And stay safe and see you guys. Peace out.